Yeah.
You shouldn't be a petty asshole in dungeons. Nobody should be a petty asshole is what I'm saying. I'm not saying this in favor of like, well, tanks and healers, what about them? Not a whataboutism. It's if tanks and healers are assholes, they can get removed from the party. If DPS are being assholes, they can get removed from the party. But the DPS should not get a free pass to be dickheads just because the terms of service says this. Like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely f***ing not. Oh, that's neat.
That's cool, right?
Can become stronger if not defeated in a certain time limit. Oh,
That's
so now they're
fun,
encouraging
right?
speed running. That's gonna make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, I like big pulls. I just don't post a lot of dungeon content. But my whole you pull it, you tank it thing is not anti-pull. It's just stop being a dickhead and wait for me to do what I need to do as a tank. I will do it as I see. I can see my cooldowns.
Right,
You
yeah.
can't see my freaking cooldowns. Stop pulling ahead. I can pick it up, but you're also putting us at higher risk of wiping the party. And I would rather you die to a few mobs, be able to recollect ourselves, raise you, than the entire party getting screwed because you couldn't wait 5 seconds for me to move a little bit farther. Drives me crazy.
Agree.
You're like, you're griefing the party by letting letting them die. I'm like, it's saving the rest of the group. You're griefing. You're an impatient little child. Pretty sure that's actually against TOS. Which part? Pulling ahead or letting them die? Because letting them die isn't a spiteful thing.
No.
It's letting them die so that somebody else isn't taking aggro. No. We're not having this argument right now.
Oh, no.
We're not having this argument right now. So, you pull your tank as against their TOS, you can be reported for that behavior as a tank. Because the whole point is if you pull ahead of the tank and the tank isn't ready or the healer isn't ready and you're trying to do big pulls, that is also against the terms of service because you're compelling their gameplay to adhere to what you want. It's not a matter the tank should pull. And if you are pulling ahead, it is better for the party overall. It's not a spiteful thing. It is better for the party overall for one person to die while the tank and the healer are handling a mob that they can handle. Raise the person up and let the healer and tank do what they can handle. They have their cooldowns. I'll fight the Square Enix on this entirely. I will die on this hill.
Yeah.
If the DPS can pull, if you're like, hey, do you want me to help with big pulls? You can be like, yeah, bring them to me. That'd be great. It'll help with like caster mobs and all that stuff. I'm not against DPS pulling mobs in general, but they shouldn't be impatient and then sacrifice the party because they can't have a little bit of patience. I like big pulls. I'd prefer to do big pulls. Do not wipe the party though because you're impatient. Let the tank and the healer handle it. And if you want big pulls, then tank or heal. That's it. I don't care what the TOS says. It's wrong to go ahead and keep wiping the party, then rage quit, and then everybody else is out. That is much more toxic than, hey, you pulled ahead, I can't pick those up off of you because I'm dealing with this mob right now. Wait, they die, pick them up, the whole group lives, rather than now the tank is out of, resources, and then the healer is out of resources, then everybody dies, and now they don't have any resources because they blew whatever little they had left to survive the pull that they weren't ready for.
Yeah.
What if you want to let the rest of the party know how much of a big boy you are by pulling all of Armvale? Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't. You know what? If letting that person die is against terms of service, I will get banned. I do not care, and I will fight that. That is my logic. It is sound, and I will not fall from that. I would rather get banned than encourage people to be rude. I still don't think that you should be a little baby as a tank or a healer and just let people die willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be a petty asshole in dungeons. Nobody should be a petty asshole is what I'm saying. I'm not saying this in favor of like, well, tanks and healers, what about them? Not a whataboutism. It's if tanks and healers are assholes, they can get removed from the party. If DPS are being assholes, they can get removed from the party. But the DPS should not get a free pass to be dickheads just because the terms of service says this. Like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not. So ridiculous. How entitled some DPS are. But tank and healers aren't the leads. It's like they... Ugh.
Well, the way you move in the dungeon depends on where their buffs are at.
Yeah. So Crass Rice, to your point, argument is moot because for me, my tanking style is see enemy hit the... Well, like, okay, for you, that's fine. If you're able to do that, I'm saying that not everybody's a good tank. And you can't assume everybody's a good tank. I wish everybody was a good tank. I wish I could just teach everybody how to big pull and not have to worry about it. We have so many resources, it's easy. I'm not saying that it's hard to tank. But if you're wiping the party because you can't wait. Because for me, I'm not personally letting anybody die. If they pull ahead, I'm irritated, but I'm still picking it up because I know how to manage my cooldowns. If somebody is learning tank, though, that is a horrible way to engage with them in the community. That's a horrible way to get them used to it. Stop being a little baby.
I was just thinking about when Corey went warrior, and was it me and you in there?
Yeah, when he started the game, but that was me with Zeta weapons while he had crafted gear at level 50, and I just pulled off of him.
We were friends, and we were joking, and we were doing that. But if you go and do that as a DPS who's experienced with a new tank, then you can't. It's not a nice thing to do to that tank. And it would make them go away from being a tank if they had that experience multiple times with multiple DPS that are higher level gear or just they are better in the game.
There's nuance to it. It's not a just a black and white system.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people putting in stuff like, well, if this situation happens, if this situation, I agree. It's not if a DPS pulls, they should die. I'm not saying always let a DPS die if they pull ahead. I'm saying it is better for the inexperienced healer and tank to let one DPS die, manage what they can, get the other DPS up, ask nicely, please don't do that, we're new, communicate, and then move on. Not be spiteful, not be rude, not be mean, but the DPS also have to be that. Because the DPS that argue this the hardest are the ones that are like, they hate the idea of like somebody else telling them what to do. Is mostly it. I don't want the healer and the tank to dictate all this stuff. I want to be the one dictating it. And they're the only ones that should get punished for bad behavior.
I mean, if you want to lead the dungeon as a DPS, then you better be a really good DPS, because the game is not set up for you to be the one leading the dungeon. The game is set up for the tank to be leading. Four
tanks can do a dungeon. 4 healers can do a dungeon. Do a dungeon with 4 DPS. I could not get people on my stream with me to queue up 4 DPS in a dungeon to try it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, if you're so good at this, go in and just do 4 DPS dungeon runs. And you do that. Since the DPS are the ones who can lead it, you go and do that and see how it works.